What's up, everybody? My name's Parker Ament.
My name's Danny Ferrari.
And today we are going to show you how to make the foghorn in my personal favorite D&B song, Sientelo.
What does Sientelo mean? Sientelo.
You know what that means?
I don't know. I like it though.
Foghorn? It means full send, bro.
Does it really?
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
I don't know. Don't quote me. This might be a Parker fact.
Yeah, because apparently your facts are completely wrong about this song. You want to explain it to the
people?
No,
I think my facts are just like, I don't know. I don't know how the Parker facts work.
Parker facts are, that's a different thing. I'm talking about specifically with this song, what you thought about this song.
Oh, so dude, okay, yeah, let's tell him. So I had like a total Mandela effect with this song. I thought this song came out in like 2016 because this is like one of my favorite songs.
2016 or recent?
No, I thought this came out in 2016,
bro.
Oh. This was like a classic, an instant classic. I totally thought that this was like an old Camo and Crooked song. I used to listen to Camo and Crooked all the time.
Right.
Mejfus, like they were my favorite artists back then.
Did you say Mejfus?
Mejfus, dude.
Mejfus?
Mejfus. Yeah. Keaton's gonna have to
leave it in.
Keaton's gonna have to
People are gonna be so love funny. That one.
Oh man, he's a legend, bro. We can't make fun of him.
Shout out Mejfus.
Mejfus, dude. What the fuck? So I thought this came out in 2016 for some reason.
Gotcha.
So like I checked and it came out in 2021, which is pretty insane to me. So like what I'm thinking is like maybe it was an ID that was getting played out for years and years, and then it officially came out in 2021. But I've heard this for years. It's like an instant classic. Maybe it's so good that I thought it came out earlier. You know what I'm saying?
Or it's possible you heard the ID. That's possible too.
Exactly. And then the other cool thing about this song is like we're remaking my favorite sound, which is the foghorn.
You love the foghorn.
I love the foghorn and Jump Up, D&B. Like it's one of my favorite sounds for sure.
Why are we doing this, bro? Why are we doing so much D&B content?
Oh, dude, it's D&B season,
That's
baby.
Right.
So we got less than 2 weeks away before XENO, our newest drum and bass pack, comes out.
Production suite, baby.
Oh yeah, actually it is a production suite, dude. Check it out right here. You see it?
Several things.
So many boxes. So many beautiful boxes.
So many boxes.
So many colors. Super excited about that. Go check it out. If you want to jump on the early access list, go in the description and you can get this project file for free when you purchase the early access copy. We're going to be giving away a ton of other bonuses, so go check that out.
Let's give them this foghorn for free.
Oh yeah.
We're going to give you this foghorn for free. Parker loves the foghorns.
I know. You always get to tell them that we're giving away free stuff before I get to tell them.
I didn't know if you were going to.
I know. I'm the strict parent.
Yeah.
And you're like the parent like, let's skip school.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get some ice cream with you.
Yeah, exactly.
So without further ado, like, sub, and leave a comment. Tell us what you want us to remake next. It's gotta be D&B though. It's gotta be Jump Up, Jungle, Neuro, Halftime, Liquid. It's gotta be one of those.
Mejfus.
Mejfus.
D&B, my favorite type.
All right, guys, so let's get into this. So here is the remake. It is super insane. Let's check out the drums. Let's check out the basses. Let's get into this.
Ooh, those drums are crisp, baby. All in XENO, too.
Dude, yeah, these are my favorite kind of Jump Up drums, like drum and bass. It's like a little clap in there and the snare. It's super sick.
You know what I've learned, too, is the drum and bass drums are very versatile for other genres, too.
Really?
Yeah, really been like really playing around. Like you can use a lot of the drums for dubstep. I think for a lot of them for like, you know, like 140 UK bass, too. Like some of the
for
snares
sure,
are really nice and crisp, and the hi-hats and the tambourines. It's like kind of...
Totally.
I feel like you can do like a few different genres with just the drum sounds in a drum and bass pack, especially this one.
You could do like the baby drum and bass, like Fred Again, where it's like little miniature drum and bass.
Yeah, cute drum and bass.
Cutes and bass.
Cutie basses.
Let's check out these drop sounds real quick. So again, that is my favorite drum and bass sound of all time. So without further ado, let's jump into the Serum preset, dude. Let's get foggy. We got the sound initiated right here. This is kind of like the go-to combo for a lot of drum and bass, like long boy sounds.
Yeah.
We're gonna start with the sine wave and oscillator A, and we're gonna drop it down 2 octaves, and we're gonna put the unison up to 3. Now let's hear what that sounds like. Let's get our playhead right. And we're gonna put the detune to 0.06, blend to 75, random all the way down. We want it to start in the same time every time. Level to -5, about 75%. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna be FMing from oscillator B. Oscillator B, we're gonna do a sine wave as well. We're gonna put it on sync. So the warp mode is gonna be on about 2.67%. Now this is the combo that I was talking about. FMing from B and then syncing. And we're gonna want this 1 octave down, so just above the -2. Let's hear what that sounds like.
Nice texture. I feel like you have to have FM for foghorns.
For sure.
You know?
I just love the sync combo when you're FMing. Like, it makes a ton of difference.
It's that movement of the FM and the sync that's sort of slowly opening up that sort of creates that sort of that sort of foghorn. That's like the key to these sounds, I feel like.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing too is we're gonna need to make some LFOs, and we're gonna put most of them on to bar right here. Let's make our LFOs right now. There's gonna be 3. So first one we're gonna set to a bar. We're gonna have a nice swooping motion, so kind of like a long boy. LFO 2 is gonna be a bar as well on envelope. It's gonna have a nice little ramp up, and it's gonna stay for half of the bar. LFO 3 is just gonna be kind of like the standard triangle LFO. We're gonna put that on a bunch of things, so stay tuned. And we're gonna put that 8th triplets, and we're gonna turn that off. Let's get to LFO 1. The first thing we're gonna put LFO 1 on is the FM from B. We're gonna wanna put that to 10. So let's listen to what that sounds like.
Slight opening of it.
Yeah, so it's gonna slowly slide open. You're starting to hear that FM sound. Then next, LFO 2 is gonna have a similar thing, but it's gonna ramp up quicker. And we're gonna put that on sync, and we're gonna put that to 7. There's that nice sync texture. Before we get to LFO 3, I wanna do a couple of other things. Let's move to the filter. We're gonna put MG Low 12. This is like your favorite filter, right, Danny?
It's
the
one
most
of them for sure. It's
versatile.
so simple, but yeah, it's just a good sounding filter, and it's definitely really useful for especially these type of sounds, because the foghorn is about it starts kind of quiet and then it expands, and you really, with a low pass filter, you can really sort of get that sort of opening feeling.
Totally. It's kind of like the same thought process behind like making a growl, I feel like. Like a long boy growl.
Sure.
Let's pick MG Low 12. We're gonna put the cutoff to 7747s. We're gonna put the res to 10%, drive to 9%, leaving the fat all the way down and then mix all the way up. We're gonna put A and B to it, as well as the sub. You can initiate the sub whenever you want. It's gonna be -2 octaves, levels all the way up. Let's hear how it sounds right now. You can't really hear anything yet because we need to put LFO 3, that little triangle, onto the cutoff. Let's put that on. We're gonna put it to 27. It's gonna be going, I think, both ways.
Yep.
Kind of like Danny.
Yep. Nice. Getting that shakiness.
Yeah, getting that nice shocker.
Shocker.
Sientelo shocker.
Sientelo vibrato.
Sientelo.
Full send vibrato.
Full send. Is that racist? So next, after we set the filter, we got res at 10%, drive at 9%, mix all the way up. No fat on this one. We're keeping it skinny. The next step is we're gonna wanna put our noise, the AC hum 1, and we're gonna put that to 10%. And that's not going to our filter either. Nice little texture, little sizzle on top.
Yeah.
Before we get to the post-processing effects, for this LFO 3, we're gonna wanna put this on a couple of other things. Now, this is optional, but a really, really cool trick that you can actually use in other Serum presets that you have. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna be adding vibrato. Do it, give it to me.
Vibrato.
Vibrato.
Sientelo vibrato.
Exactly. The first thing that we're gonna wanna do on this is we're gonna put this on the level, and it's gonna be going back and forth, and it's going to be to 7.
One way. Looks like, sorry, that looks like it's
Is it
back
one
and forth.
way?
It's one way, yeah.
Oh, it's not like
it looked
Danny.
like back and forth, but it's one way.
It's not like Danny.
To the right, yeah. Just one way, straight to the right.
Yep.
Not both ways like me.
The other places we're going to be putting it on is we're going to be putting it on the fine tune of A and B, okay? We're going to set that to 30 toots, and I believe this is 30 toots as well, 34.
Doesn't matter.
So it's very subtle, but if we pump it up, you could start hearing it shake. getting some really nice vibrats.
You know what I noticed too? Is like, so you get vibrato from like fine tune, but another interesting way that you can kind of sort of fake vibrato, I mean, actually it's not really faking it, is because you're putting the LFO3 on the cutoff of the low pass filter.
Yeah.
And it's shaking that sort of opening of the filter.
Yeah.
That's sort of creating a little bit of pitch variation because the filter is essentially letting in some different frequencies and then pulling them out, letting them out, in, out, in and out. And that's creating a somewhat of a vibrato because that's all
you're right.
Pitch is essentially frequency. So a lot of times you can get a similar, maybe a lighter style vibrato by opening up a cutoff on a filter by a little
that's
bit.
Definitely a good point. Now that we have our vibrato set, we want to kind of create a dry wet. So we're going to create a macro over here so we could really, really control that vibrato. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the matrix and we are going to assign LFO3 fine tune and the B to macro 4, which is down here.
The aux source.
Yes, the aux. So this is essentially creating a dry wet of how much LFO3 is affecting the fine tune of A and B.
And you know what's cool about that too is that you have, because these foghorn sounds, like I feel like they're evolving sounds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of like long boys, they evolve over time, is essentially having that sort of macro, automating that macro and opening up that vibrato so the sound is essentially changing over time. You could probably just draw like a straight ramp LFO, but it's cool to have it on a macro.
Yeah, I really wish that Serum just had like a built-in like vibrato knob. I don't know why they don't have that. Maybe there's something that we don't know about with the coding or something. But
yeah, that does seem weird. Why wouldn't they just have that? Like Massive had that. It was so simple too.
Exactly.
And it sounded good.
So let's listen to this with the vibrato all the way up so you guys can hear it.
Very nice.
There it is. So you can do what Danny said, where you can automate it up and down to kind of change it, or you can kind of dial it into a certain area that you like. That sounds good. So we'll keep it like a little bit down here for now. We don't want it to be too crazy. Now that we got all of that, make sure that it's on mono because we're not doing chords here, okay? We're doing drops. We're making foggies, making foghorns. We're not doing drops. We're doing drops. Put that on mono. Let's get into the post-processing effects.
If you guys cannot wait to get this project file and much, much more, join our Patreon link down below and receive a project file just like this one, along with access to hundreds of project files, remakes, samples, and presets. Supporting us on Patreon helps our channel to deliver better content and more often to you guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and a big shout out to all our patrons. You guys know who you are. And if you don't know who you are, click the Patreon link down below and get a ton of exclusive sounds, Serum presets, project files, and much, much more. We will see you on Patreon.
First things first, we're doing an EQ. We're gonna have the frequency at 237, and we're gonna bump it up with a nice little notch right here. 67% on the Q, and gain at 10.3. And then on the higher end frequencies, we're gonna be doing 238, Q at 60%, and the gain at 3.3 dB.
That little nasal notch.
So a lot of people really don't like 230 because it's a lot of mud, but we're sound designing right now, so it's giving it the body. The next thing, we're gonna add a diode 2 distortion. I personally love the diode 2 distortion. When you're FMing and you're syncing, this kind of glues it all together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Great with sine waves, the diode.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Woo. There it is, dude. I love it. Let's just hear it again, dude.
That sounded nice.
Such a great combo. So like, I know I keep saying it over and over again, but FM from B, sync on B, and then bring it all together with the diode too.
Oh yeah.
You know, great, great technique. Next, after the distortion, we're doing a multi-band compressor, threshold at 12 o'clock, 18, ratio at 4:1, attack at 90 milliseconds, release at 108.6 milliseconds, and then gain at 13.7. And then we pulled up the mids a little bit on this.
Like
we pulled down the lows, and I think we left the highs on it. So sick. Mix all the way up. Really, really brings it all together. And then lastly, we put a reverb on. Mix is gonna be all the way down on this guy, a nice hall reverb. Size at 35%, decay at 4 seconds. Low cut all the way down, high cut at 37%. Spin at 25 and 18% for the spin depth. This is all just kind of for tone for the reverb. And I believe that we put LFO1 on this, so it slowly opens up the mix knob halfway through the bar. But let's hear what that sounds like.
Nice little reverb throw.
Really, really nice. You know, I really didn't like the Serum reverb for a very long time, and I'm kind of getting used to it a little bit more now. And
it sounds good sometimes.
Yeah, especially when you're just kind of dialing in the tail of a sound. I think that it really complements things and puts it into a space when you put it at the end.
It's not all bad. It does some things well. I feel like you're right. Like, for some reason, doing throws on it, I feel like I like it a lot, or having it automate up with the mix. It sounds really nice. But...
yeah, it has a really, really nice tone. So that is it with this sound. What we did is, I believe we have a dedicated sub in this project file. So we just cut the lows on it with an EQ8 at 90. We have our dedicated sub right over here. And that is just to really dial it in to make it as close to the original as possible. But then we also wanted to give you guys the sub if you didn't want to use a dedicated sub.
Yep.
So let's hear it all together with the foghorn that we just made today.
Oh!
So sick. So some of the other really cool stuff that is in this project file is like...
some of the sounds are sick, dude.
Some of the sounds are really, really sick. And like, there's a ton of automation that we put in, which is something that I always forget about. Like when I'm checking out other people's Ableton project files, is like, what did they do with the automation? Like, how are they making all these cool sounds? The time spent in changing the main sounds are like really, really important. So we mess with the sync knob a little bit. Of course, the vibrato down here. Really, really cool stuff right there. There's also, I would call them like the gunshotty sounds. I think it's...
you're talking about like the stab, like the buzzy sound?
Yeah, dude.
The glitchy. That layered with like white noise, I think it is.
Yeah, it's right over here.
Oh, that's kind of important too. There's a little bit of layer of white noise in there too. That's just on top. That adds a little extra.
That's something that we've noticed happens a lot in drum and bass, is like there's a white noise layer with the sounds, or sometimes they're doing it with the hi-hats, which is really interesting too.
Yeah, true.
So a ton of really, really cool stuff in this project file. If you guys want to grab it, make sure to get on that early access list, link in the description, and you're going to get this project file. You're going to get the John Summit project file. You're getting a ton of other stuff. Those two are just like two of my favorites out of all of the bonuses. And remember, we've got less than 2 weeks before XENO comes out, our biggest production suite ever made in Excellent history. You got anything for the people, Danny?
Dude, just remember, there's only 1,000 copies for the early access. And just by signing up, just by saying, hey, I'm interested and I want to look into this and I'm curious what you guys got, you get a free drum and bass starter pack. Absolutely free, 25 Serum presets, tons of sounds. You guys will see more if you haven't already seen our other videos prior. You'll see a bunch more stuff in the pack, like Parker was mentioning. Of course, all the bonuses are going to be insane, but the pack just itself, really proud of it. A lot of you guys seem to be really excited about it, so we're super stoked. So mark it in your calendars, sign up for that early access in the list, subscribe, like, comment. I did it all, dude.
That's awesome. So last thing too, let me know if you guys agree with me. Like, did you guys have the same Mandela effect? With Sientelo as I did? Did it come out in 2010 and like we all just like...
did we just forget?
Yeah, did we just forget about it, or was it an ID? Like, please let me know, because I'm very curious about it. I know Danny is as well. So let us know about that in the comments, and we'll see you guys on the next video.
Peace.
Del monte será, se lo lleva.